The following audio may contain the personal testimonials of some Optavia coaches or clients of Optavia. The results relayed in these messages are based on the unique experiences of the participants, and we cannot guarantee like or similar outcomes. While you may be inspired by these accounts, please note that any stories of success have not been verified, and your individual path to optimal health will vary. As always, it is our recommendation that you consult with a healthcare provider before starting a weight loss program. Yours in health, the Optavia team.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Optavia Habits of Health call tonight. My name is Matt Engstrom. This is my lovely wife, Christy, and it is Valentine's Day, and we are excited to be here with all of you tonight. Let's take a moment, if you wouldn't mind, and
come in on the chat and
come
let us know where you're from.
And let us know, heck.
Where are you from? Where are you coming from?
Yeah, just give us a shout out from where you're from in the country. So, we are, all over the place.
Oh my goodness sakes.
Oh, wow.
Wow. I can't even keep up. There's
Portland, Oregon. Oh, okay. I won't even try to read what's going on. It's coming through rapid fire at us, and there's 300 of you on here
on
already.
Valentine's Day, Matt.
Yeah.
Of all days.
Yeah, we need to all have a serious conversation about that.
It's hard to make dinner reservations on Valentine's Day.
Yes, it is. So tonight it's our pleasure to be here with all of you. This call is for our clients, for coaches, for medical professionals. And you know what? If you're on here and somebody invited you to the call to join in, well, welcome. This could be an interesting call. This is the first time Christy and I have ever done this. They asked us to do it on Valentine's Day. And just a little bit of information here. Christy and I have been married for 38, almost
39 years.
Wow. Come this May. And
and do you still feel like we're on a honeymoon?
I do.
Good answer.
Yeah. Christy and I have a fun and interesting life, and it's been a joyful life, and we're really appreciative to be here tonight. So tonight, we're going to talk about something really important. We're going to talk a little bit about the physical heart, share a couple stories with you there, give you some real statistics in regards to what goes on in this great country we live in as it relates to the heart. And then we're going to move away from the physical heart, and we're going to talk about the emotional heart. So we have two guests with us tonight, Dr. Jan Cornell and Dr. George Powell, and they will come in a little bit later as time goes on. So let me just read a couple statistics to you here, and I'm going to pull my eyes down and read something to you, if you wouldn't mind. So here's some real statistics. So hang on, this isn't the good news statistics. Heart disease in the United States, about 610,000 people die of heart disease in the United States every year. That's 1 in every 4 deaths. Heart disease is the leading cause of death for both men and women. More than half the deaths are due to heart disease. Just shocking statistics. The most common type of coronary heart disease is the most common type of heart disease, killing 370,000 people, and every year over 735,000 Americans have a heart attack. 525,000 are first time, and 210,000 are a repeat of a prior heart attack. And just one more little set of statistics that I think, and for all of us that are on here, okay, so if you're on here, this is a Habits of Health call, okay? For you coaches, for clients, and for docs, we all participate in a mission together, either getting healthy, helping others or helping others get healthy. And if you're here joining us tonight, please pay special attention, because tonight's call is something I think pretty important for each and every one of us. So Angie, if I could get you to next. So tonight we're on the Habits of Health webinar call, and it's all about your healthy, happy heart. And again, I'm Matt Engstrom. This is my wife, Christy Engstrom. And next. So I want to share a story with you here. See this picture here? At 44 years old, and you'll see the picture here in just a minute, but this is the way I saw myself, 40 pounds heavier. I thought I was that guy. I thought I was in the club every day. I was working out. All of that stuff was something like, I thought I had it all together till I went and saw my doctor. And then all of that strength that I thought I had and carried around and thought I actually really thought I was in really good shape. I found out all of a sudden that every medical condition that I could have from carrying too much weight couldn't be out performed by working out every day. So my doctor made it very evident to me that I needed to make some changes. And when I came home one day with 4 prescriptions for a statin, a high blood pressure med, and a couple other things, and I was dealing with all of it. It was kind of
diabetic.
Yeah. And Christy looked at me. What did you say?
I just said that's not where I thought we were going to be at 52 years of life. Yeah. So yeah, and we put the prescriptions up for about a month, and then tell them what happened. Well,
so what ended up happening, and let me add one more thing, Angie, if you could just next. So here's what I learned. You can't out exercise the fork, okay? I had spent from 1977, this is no exaggeration, I had spent from 1977 when I was 19 years old till I was 51 years old, thinking that exercise was the appropriate response for outperforming, for health. And the truth was, I was kidding myself when I showed up one day with all 4 of these prescriptions, and those statistics that I was telling you about earlier, I was falling in and getting closer to becoming one of those statistics. So it was time to make a change, and an important change. And I scared the heck out of her after her and I had made a commitment to each other in our lives that we were going to stay healthy for one another. Our children, we had our children young, we were empty nesters, and we wanted to experience great life together. So next. So the guy on the left in this picture is me. And I thought I was in really good shape on the left. Okay.
So did I.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that. The guy on the right, and actually this picture is a little bit older than what, when I was 51. I was 44 years old, and I was actually a little bit heavier than that right prior to 51. The picture on the right, I'm 35 pounds lighter, and every health marker, every single health marker from the time I made the decision to embrace the habits of health and do the program started rapidly changing. And from that point forward, since I was 51 and I turned 60 on Friday, everything has improved dramatically. But all of those people that deal with heart issues, the issue is they don't make a choice. They just don't make a choice. And what I had to come to that place in my life where I made a choice. So Christy and I move forward. So next. So here is 9 years later. This was last summer. Christy and I were on a trip in, and we were in the Mediterranean. We were in Europe. We were out just off the shore of Italy. And 9 years later, her and I are experiencing that life that we truly desired to experience, and we continue to do so. But to overcome those things that caused all of those statistics to happen, there had to be a decision. And for all of you on here, for all of you listening, it started with one decision to move forward in my health, and it started to move forward with the Optavia program and really embracing the habits of health. So I'd like to invite on, to get away from just statistics and telling the story, I'd like to invite in and have him share his story a little bit and take a medical direction with it. And that's Dr. Jan Cornell. And Jan, if you would unmute and come on, I'd appreciate it.
My name's Jan Cornell. I'm a board certified family practice doctor. I've been practicing over 20 years. And it's a pleasure to be here tonight, an honor to be able to talk to y'all. My wife found out about this program. She's actually my coach now, and that was about 75 days ago. I'd struggled with my weight my whole life and decided I wanted to finally do something about it. So started the program, and thus far I'm down about 25 pounds. I'm only 12 pounds or so from my personal goal. And due to my weight, I had developed type 2 diabetes. I had high blood pressure. I had a high bad cholesterol and a low good cholesterol. I had some abnormalities in my liver enzymes that was secondary to fat deposit. I had sleep apnea. I had to have a machine to help me breathe at night because I'd quit breathing without the machine. And finally, I had developed coronary artery disease. I've had 3 stents, little pipes in my coronary arteries to keep them open because I was heading toward heart attacks. And since starting this program and losing the weight, I've improved my blood pressure. My diabetes has improved a lot. My glycohemoglobin, which is a measure of what your sugars have done over the last 3 months. I don't need the CPAP machine anymore. I lost that after about the first week or so. And my cholesterol has improved, although with the caveat, not everybody's cholesterol will improve with dietary changes, but mine has gotten a lot better. And it's hard to say precisely what risk obesity alone confers on anybody for coronary artery disease because of all the comorbidities, the blood pressure, the diabetes, the cholesterol. But the American Heart Association does class obesity as a class 2 risk factor, which means that an intervention is likely to improve outcomes. In other words, if you lose weight, you're going to improve your heart health. They've proven that. And from a doctor's perspective, the big problem with weight loss is keeping it off. We see a lot of people that lose weight and they come back and their weight's back too. And the thing with the Optavia program seems to be that, you know, it's not focused only on food. That's important. The feelings are important, but you have a coach and you have a community and calls like this, and all those things seem to synergize to produce a change from the inside out that sticks with you. And I'm just speaking observationally. I don't have any statistics, but the people, many people that I've seen in this program tend to lose weight and keep it off, and that's remarkable. And it's just been a pleasure to start this journey, and I hope to finish it.
Jan, thank you very much and appreciate you sharing that. And, you know, I asked Jan to come on because we're dealing with an MD, and the truth is, you know what? It doesn't matter whether you're a doctor or whatever your profession is. There, you know, in the world we live in today, is that we're all subject to all of this. As Dr. A would tell us, you know, it's not in the very beginning of the Habits of Health, it's not our fault because we're also subjected to so much bombardment of information to get us to do something in our life that creates a poor outcome. So there's no lines on who it hits. It's everybody. And in my conversations with Jan, the medical changes that have happened to him as a doctor are amazing. So I want to turn this over to the emotional side of the heart, and that would be my beautiful wife, Christy, and I want her to share with Dr. George Pal. So, Christy, and I'll come back to that in just a little bit next.
Okay, thank you, Matt. And yeah, so, you know, we talk about the physical side of the heart, which is critical, but there's also the emotional side of the heart. And the heart is the most important organ in our body. We all know that. And when we were asked to talk about this, I thought, how appropriate. It's on Valentine's Day, my favorite holiday. My favorite color is red. And from the time I can remember being in kindergarten, I came home and I remember I was slow. Maybe I was a little slower than most, but I learned how to draw a heart. And so now I find myself even, you know, at 59, still doodling hearts all the time on everything. I love hearts. So anyway, back to, you know, the fact that it is the most important organ in our body. And, you know, there's a connection between the emotional love and the heart that beats in our chest. And cardiovascular heart is largely affected by the relationships in our lives. So did you know, and I put this slide up on purpose because last May, my husband and I were blessed. We got to go on a trip with a lot of people for a wedding. And this is me with a hat, holding onto my hat. I have no idea why, laughing. And some ladies that we were with, friends from, Matt went to grade school with. And what an amazing photo that was captured. And actually, you guys, if you want to know what we were laughing at, there was a belly flop contest and on the ship, and it went on for probably 2 hours. And one of our friends that came on the cruise won the medallion, the gold medal, which made it even funnier. So, we still tell that story, and we'll tell it till we're, hopefully 100, and laugh about it, because it was just such a time of joy. And so, I just want you guys to know how important laughter is. It's heart medicine. It's good for our hearts. And so if you want to laugh, there's some things that you can do. Just look for joy in everything. Try to find joy. We live on the river, and it's so funny. We'll be sitting drinking our coffee and watch the ducks come in, and they don't always make a perfect landing. You'd think they'd have it down to a science, but they're a little awkward. And so we sit there with our coffee and we can laugh about that. Watch a comedy movie. My husband flew from San Diego today and watched 3 movies. I don't know if you fast forwarded them.
On the way down, on the way back.
Okay, yeah, 2 flights. And he watched all funny movies. Make a choice. Watch something that's going to make you laugh versus, make you sad. Play a fun game. If your kids or grandkids ask to play a game, just make light of it and play a game. Don't be too competitive. And then do something that you're really bad at. That'll make you really laugh. And I have to say for myself, I'm really bad at bowling. And so when someone invites us to go bowling, I just know that I'm going to laugh at myself because I'm the worst. And so, and he's a little competitive. So, we just kind of can laugh. We can laugh about that. So there's a study from the University of Maryland that found that people that laugh are 40% less likely to suffer from heart disease. And it also lowers your stress and improves your immune system. So there you go with the laughter. Can you go to the next slide, Angie? Okay. And then, I would say that after Matt and I have been reading and studying up on the heart and health, the best thing for a healthy, happy heart are relationships. And Matt and I invest in those pretty strongly. And so the picture on the top left corner is back to laughter. Matt and I, I think 6 years ago for Christmas, Matt bought me a session of dance lessons. And I thought, I'm going to show up and I'm going to show Matt how to dance. Well, I had no idea we took tango lessons. I didn't know what I was doing. And so the first few lessons, we didn't laugh very much, did we, honey?
No, we didn't.
No, it wasn't funny.
Much.
It was a lot of stepping on toes. And then we had a discussion, and we decided as a couple that we better make this fun because we were probably going to, strangle each other or hurt each other's feet. And so we did. We got a lot of laughs out of it, right?
Most of the time.
Yeah. And then the picture on the right is just a recent trip we took with some friends, and we laughed. We did a boot camp on the beach. We hiked. We climbed the roots of a what was that tree?
Banyan.
A banyan tree. Hiked down into some waterfalls, and those relationships and the time that we spent with these people was rich, and I know it did both of our hearts well. And then what? We can't have 1,000 friends. But the picture down below is one of my dear friends, Lisa. And, what I do know to be true is that if we can confide in someone and have a friend that's got your back, seek those out, look for those. It's rich. It helps our heart. And, it's gold. So I think I've pretty much shared everything other than, let's see. I haven't shared this. How are we on time?
We're good.
Are we good? Okay.
We got to save time for George.
Yeah. And so with that, I would love to invite a dear, dear friend. Speaking of the emotional side of the heart, we love this man. He's a dear man, dear friend. Would you like to introduce him, Dr. George Powell?
A little bit on George. George is a health coach. George also is Dr. George Powell. He is a pastor, and he's a dear friend of ours, and obviously someone who's dealt with the heart a lot in his life. That's been his primary role in life, is getting into people's hearts. And so we've asked George to come on tonight and just speak a little bit from his heart about this subject. So George, would you join us?
I'm on. Can you hear me?
You're in.
Hey, thank you so much. And I'm so glad you talked about how laughter is good for you, because Christy, when you showed Matt's before and after picture, and you said you thought he looked good, I started laughing and I thought to myself, well, love is blind. And so that's great. I appreciate it. So I love to laugh. And so, yeah, I'm a pastor. And sometimes when people think, oh, no, a pastor's preaching, one of two things is going to happen. He's going to go on forever, or he's going to ask for money or something like that. So I'm not going to ask anybody to send me money. And my favorite definition of preaching, it's the fine art of talking in someone else's sleep. Okay, but I'm not going to talk long enough to put you to sleep. But Christy, Matt, thank you. It's an honor to be able to be on here tonight and to share. And Christy, when you asked me the other day about sharing, about guarding our emotional heart, immediately my thoughts went to one of my favorite passages of scripture. It's the words of Solomon back in the Old Testament in the book of Proverbs, chapter 23, verse 4. And it says, above all else, guard your heart, because everything you do comes from it. That's a powerful, powerful principle to live by. Above all else, guard your heart, because everything you else do comes from that. So what does it mean? What he says, above all else, first off, what that means is make it a priority. We have to make it a priority. In other words, it can't be something that we just occasionally think about, or I'll guard my heart if I get around to it. But he says, no, above everything else, guard your heart. And so we have to protect our heart. One of the leadership principles that Optavia has taught us and that I teach other people is simply this: order your life around what matters most. Order your life around what matters most. Well, what matters most? I can't think of too many things that matter more than your heart. You know, it's your physical heart and it's your emotional heart. I was thinking about this afternoon. The truth is, we don't guard worthless things. Our trash is going to be picked up tomorrow morning. And so tonight, when I get back from taking my wife out to dinner, I'm going to put my trash out on the street. But I'm not going to pay anybody to guard it. I'm not going to go out there and look and make sure it's okay. I really don't care about it because it's trash. It's worthless. Well, that's not true with our heart. That's not true with our emotional heart. Our emotional heart is the core of who we are. It's where our dreams and our passions and our vision, it's where all of that lives. It's the part of us that connects with other people. And stop and think about it. Most people on here are either clients or they're coaches. And everything we do is about connecting with other people. Well, where does that come from? It comes from our heart. And so, you know, this teaches us, it says to guard our heart. Now, that doesn't mean that we build walls around our heart and we never let anybody in. Because the reality about our heart is sometimes we suffer from a broken heart, don't we? And sometimes we lose heart. And so the worst thing we can do is build walls around our heart, but we do have to protect our heart. And so as I thought about that, I came up with 3 words to talk about how we reflect our heart. And I could talk a long time about this. So if I need to stop, you just tell me. And because I've got 3, I'm a preacher, and they all start with the letter R, okay? And so here's the first thing to guard and protect your heart is reflection. Reflection. Take some time at the beginning and at the end of every single day to reflect and to examine your heart and ask yourself, how did I do today? I call it bookending my day. You begin the day with reflection and planning, and you end the day with reflection and planning. And don't be afraid to ask yourself hard questions when it comes to guarding your heart. Like, ask yourself questions like, why did I act like that today? Or why did I think that about me today? Or why did I think that about them today? Or how could I have done that better? And then I rate myself at the end of every day on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 being, I didn't do a good job, and 10 being, I knocked it out of the park. And it's not to feel badly about myself, but it's just so that I can improve and making sure that I'm guarding my heart. The second word is the word rest. And I think rest is important when it comes to guarding our heart. And I don't necessarily mean taking a nap, although obviously good sleep is great for our heart. What I mean by rest is this, and I have a little phrase that I go by when I talk about rest. We need to divert daily, we need to withdraw weekly, and we need to abandon annually. If we can do those three things, we're intentionally building rest into our heart and into our life. So divert daily, take a little bit of time every day just to take a break and to reflect a little bit. Abandon or withdraw weekly. In other words, 1 out of every 7 days, rest. I think that's biblical. And then abandon annually. Every year, try to get away and go do something fun with your family. Laugh, take a vacation. I threw one more in there. Matt, you'll like this. Massage monthly. That'll take care of your emotional heart and your physical heart. And then the third word is relationships. And arguably, I think this is the most important. I think it's the most important because honestly, life is all about relationships. Everything we do as coaches, everything we do as people, it's about relationships. I think everybody on here would agree with me tonight that if relationships are good, then life is great. When relationships are bad, then life stinks. And so it's all about relationships. And so there's a couple of things I want to say to you about relationships, and then I'll wrap it up. Here's the first one. Bring the right people around you. If you're going to guard your heart emotionally, you've got to bring the right people around you. It's all about community. I got to tell you, one of the things that really drew me to Optavia and that drew me to this group of people was community. And when I share about Optavia, one of the things I enjoy talking about the most is the amazing community of people. I love going back to the convention. I love their city-wide gatherings and the community of people. They're good people to be around. You want to surround yourself with the right people. I love this phrase. I came across this today. Your friends should want to see you win. Your friends should clap loudly when you succeed. If they don't, get new friends. I love that. You know, they can say, if you want to know what somebody thinks about you, when people are clapping for you, look to see who's not clapping. If they're not clapping, maybe you ought to get some new friends. Here's the second thing. Stay away from the wrong people, okay? It's kind of the reverse side of the coin. Stay away from the wrong people. In other words, avoid toxic people and avoid toxic things. All of us know this to be true, that you and I are going to become like the people we most hang around with. And I know it's true, and probably a lot of you know it's true as well. You can generally tell where somebody's going to be 5 years from now by two things: the books they read and the people with whom they most associate. And so avoid toxic things, because that's horrible for your heart emotionally. Here's the third thing. Keep the poison out of your heart, okay? Every so often, we have to examine our heart and make sure we don't have any poison in there. And what I mean by that are these kinds of things: resentment or jealousy or envy or retaliation. All of those things just eat your heart alive. And so how do you do that? Well, this is what I think you should do. First thing, forgive people who offend you. Just forgive people who offend you. I think forgiveness is one of the greatest gifts we've been given, and that's just to forgive people. Keep short accounts of people. They say forgiveness is setting the prisoner free, only to realize the prisoner is me. And so forgiveness is a great gift. Here's the second thing. Ask for forgiveness. If you've offended somebody, ask them to forgive you. I tell people all the time, here are 9 magical words. If you can memorize these words, it'll be great for your emotional heart and relationships. I'm sorry. I was wrong. Will you forgive me? And then forgive yourself. And if you're going to guard your heart emotionally, you've got to forgive yourself. And then here's the last thing I would say. Learn to say, I love you. Learn to say, I love you. This is kind of a pet peeve of mine. In other words, don't just say love you. If you stop and listen, you'll oftentimes hear people say, love ya, love ya. And again, it's kind of a pet peeve, but I made it a practice a long time ago to say, I love you. I dare you to try it. the next time, today's a great day, by the way, it's Valentine's Day. So look at your spouse, look at your children, look at your parents and say, I love you. Put the word I in there. I want to close out with just a really quick story. When you can learn to do these things, you're setting yourself for a future where you'll have no regrets relative to your emotional heart, especially this I love you. You know, Christy, you and I were talking the other day. My mom died about 3 days ago, and she's 98 years old, almost 99. She was 2 months away from being 99 years old, and she died. And she lives in Texas. I've lived away from my mom for years and years and years and years. And so I made a promise to myself years ago that every Sunday I would call her, and at the end of every conversation, I would say, Mom, I love you. And so the last time I talked to her, about a week ago, I know the last words I spoke to her were simply this: hey, Mom, I love you. And because of that, it's protected my heart emotionally, because I knew the day would come when my mom would pass away. And I didn't want to have any regrets because we couldn't see her, but I wanted her to always know, I love you. And so those are just some thoughts. There's a lot else that could be said, but hey, guarding your emotional heart. Thank you guys for letting me share tonight.
Thank you so much, George, and everybody. What a wonderful call. George, you got into my heart tonight, bud. Thank you for doing that. You know what?
Go out and have a great
great Valentine's Day. As George said, tell your family, those closest to you, I love you. And all of you go have a wonderful evening. And thank you for being on here tonight. This has been a pleasure for us to host this. And thank you to our panelists, for George and Jan for being on here tonight. You guys were awesome. And thanks everybody. Have a wonderful evening. Happy Valentine's Day to everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
This audio may have contained the personal testimonials of some Optavia coaches or clients of Optavia. The results relayed in these messages are based on the unique experiences of the participants, and we cannot guarantee like or similar outcomes. While you may be inspired by these accounts, please note that any stories of success have not been verified, and your individual path to optimal health will vary. As always, it is our recommendation that you consult with a healthcare provider before starting a weight loss program. Yours in health, the Optavia team.